See you later, little doggy. All a bit grey. Anyway, how's it going, guys? So, took delivery of a new bike. So I thought I'd just give you a bit of a first impressions for what it's worth. So, Yamaha Tenere700. I'd actually done about, I don't know, 20 or 30 miles or so. Key is still in its wrapper. So, very, very much first impressions. So let's hop on it and we'll talk about a couple of things I've noticed that I'm not sure about, a couple of things that I very much like. Went for the black one. It's a bit of a tall beast for my little hobbit legs, but do have a lowering kit on the way, so we'll look into that. The lowering kit gives you a couple of different dog bone arms to swap over, so it sinks down a little bit, and a lower seat, because this is a bit of a tall boy and I am not a tall boy. So yeah, I'm in two minds about the lowering kit at the moment. Anyway, let's start her up. As you can see, I am on my tiptoes, but one leg I can flat foot, so it's not too bad. I think for general riding I would be alright, but it's just when it gets to the slippy stuff, still getting used to the clutch and all the basics on this thing. So what have I done? Yeah, I've done 29 miles. It kind of feels bigger than it is, just because you look down, you see this great big tank and the bars and everything, the crash bars, which I had Yamaha crash bars fitted. It arrived like that. So yeah, let's talk about it. First of all, I fucking love the way this thing sounds, even with the stock exhaust, no fiddling, not even trying to rev it or anything. This thing sounds just amazing. What else? So it's super smooth. This engine is just so approachable. So, ooh, I thought it was police. Safety officer. Not sure what one of them is. Anyway, yeah, it's super smooth. The clutch, the brakes, the engine is just so smooth. It just, you can stick it in 6th gear and go along at 20 miles an hour pretty much. I'll test that in a minute, and it just pulls without any harshness at all. It seems to be completely, I mean that's what all the reviewers say, it seems to be completely linear power, so no nasty surprises, doesn't suddenly rip your arms off. The throw on the accelerator, I'm using kind of camera lens speak here, but the throw, the amount that you actually twist your wrist to get a response, it seems to be quite a lot, so you can be quite sort of ham-fisted with it and get away with it. So on the brakes, front brake, so far I've found really sort of perfect. Plenty of power, but not, let's get up this hill a minute. Yeah, front brake seems to be just lovely, got a nice bit of feel, and just kind of exactly what you want. Do you know what I mean? No nasty surprises. Doesn't feel grabby, but it feels grabby enough to stop the weight of it. The back brake, I have to say, I've been a little bit disappointed with it. It works, but it does feel like you're just stomping on some mush. It doesn't feel like super great. But I have heard that when you turn the ABS off, that actually improves. Talking of the ABS, I have noticed the ABS locking in quite easily on the back, just on a tiny little bit of gravel when I thought, you know, I'm fine, but it has gone has done the ABS thing. What else? I think this filler cap is a cheap afterthought. It just feels very cheap and wobbly. Which way shall I go? I think I'll go this way. Wait for this guy. Yeah, there's a couple of little bits where you can really see where they've cheaped out on. I quite like the TFT screen, sorry, the non-TFT screen, the LCD screen I should say, which is obviously an area of cheapness, but I actually quite like it, as long as it repels the water and does the job. Got a little select button just over here so you can go through the modes and whatnot, but you know, it's fairly basic. And I have also have noticed, as you can probably tell there, I have noticed that it wobbles a little bit. I think the whole headlight area does tend to wobble a little bit, but I think you can probably just get some little rubber sort of replacement bits or something to cut that out. It doesn't bother me anyway. It's not like you can hear it rattling or anything. You can just see it sort of having a little bounce. Do you want to go? What was I talking about? Yeah, so areas where they've cheaped out. Let's have a little think. I think the areas where they've cheaped out are really areas that they don't matter. You know, like I say, like the filler cap, this feels like it's off of a, you know, a £1,000 moped. I think these Bash handguards are pretty flimsy. They'd be okay for a very light knock and they'll keep a little bit of wind off you, but yeah, they wouldn't take any serious bashing. I've got some Service ones I can pop on there at some point. The switchgear feels fine, it all feels solid, it all works, and you've got hazards. And I know it's a little strange thing, but I actually quite like having hazards on a motorbike. A lot of them don't seem to have that. I know it's a silly little thing, but the headlights so far, I've only done one quick little run at night time, and they seemed completely adequate to me. Not epic, but not you know, not bad. Let's close my visor. Might be a bit of wind getting in. Hopefully you can hear me better. We're talking of wind protection. I mean, compared to my last bike, which is a little Fantic with zero wind protection, this does a fantastic job. Now, I'm not a big guy. I'm about sort of 5'8"-ish, I think, on a good day. Maybe 5'7". I haven't measured myself in a very long time. But either way, I'm not particularly tall, but I do have a stupidly aerodynamic helmet on, which doesn't help. But this thing definitely helps, but it's not quite the sort of the air bubble that I was hoping for. You know, the sort of cushiony, you know, non-buffety kind of air bubble. I hope that horse is okay. Hopefully he's just having a lie down, lying on his side there. Anyway, yeah, it definitely does. It definitely works, but I'm still noticing some buffeting, especially when I'm behind a lorry or something like that. You know, doing 70. So it's probably, I would say it's fine, but not quite as good as I expected on the windscreen. Obviously, you could get you can get little additions to clip onto the top to give you to throw the air a little bit higher. But I mean, if it's doing that to me, you know, a little hobbit-sized person, a tall person will almost certainly need little clip-ons to, if they want to, you know, really get their head out of the wind. But you know, I could just invest in a more aerodynamic helmet, and that would help a lot with the noise and the buffeting. But as you can tell, I'm doing 28 miles an hour in 6th gear. Yes, it is starting to chug, but it's still smooth, and I'm even going up a bit of an incline here as well. You just don't need to work the gears. It's quite happy sitting in a high gear, ambling along, but at the same time the power is there if you need it. So yeah, so I'm just sort of rambling about different things now. There's vibration wise, it feels incredibly smooth. The handlebars, the only time I feel a vibration is when I go over a bump. I don't feel any vibration from the engine at all. I mean, obviously I'm only ambling along at 42 miles an hour at the moment, but even when I'm going a bit faster, I haven't really noticed any vibration in the handlebars at all. So that is lovely. Kind of hoping for a little bit of open road, to be honest, so I can show you a bit more speed. I don't know if you can hear the exhaust through my helmet, because the mic's in my helmet at the moment, and it's also quite windy today. But it's just got a lovely warbling sort of throaty, powerful sound that is not loud or not obnoxious. So it's just a delight. It's just, yeah, I mean, maybe you could go a little bit louder if you want to kind of really enjoy the noise, but then you might start to annoy people at that point. What else can we talk about? So the weight of it, when you're riding it, it feels very light and very nimble. You don't feel the weight at all. I've only noticed the weight a couple of times when I've been manhandling it, physically pushing it around my driveway and things like that. And one time when I put my foot down on a little bit of gravel and my foot slid slightly, and obviously because this is in its current form slightly too tall for me, I did have a moment when I thought, oh shit, and I thought it was going to go down, and I'd only leaned over a small amount, but it still suddenly felt heavy. So I think the weight is only really going to be an issue if you're picking it up a lot, because it certainly does not, I'm a little guy and I'm not a massively experienced rider, and it does not feel, it feels like a light, nimble bike. Obviously this is very early days, I've not got it dirty yet. I will be taking it onto the TET, I will be taking it off-road, but this is just my very much, first impressions with a brand new bike, literally just getting used to the basics of it. So, it won't be a full kind of review, and plus I don't really think I'm qualified to give a full review because I'm not sort of experienced rider, but just giving you, an honest user experience, user kind of first impressions. So yeah, so I think I'm kind of falling in love with it. I sort of love the way it looks in some ways, in other ways I'm not sure. Like, I think my last bike, the little Fantic, without a doubt that one got lots of attention, everyone was interested in it, everyone liked the look of it. This thing just kind of looks like a big black Yamaha. It doesn't look special. I think it's only really going to be of interest for people that kind of know what it can do and know what it's about. To a non-motorbike user, this is just like a modern looking big black Yamaha bike. They don't really care, do you know what I mean? It's not particularly interesting looking. So looks wise, I more like it than not like it, but there's a couple of bits that, I don't know whether they're going to age incredibly well. I think I'm probably going to leave that there now, guys. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can point out. So the sort of things I'm concerned about is if I drop it on the exhaust, and the exhaust, the exhaust support is part of the frame. So I've heard of people I've heard of it, I don't know whether it actually happens, but I've heard of people writing off the bike because they've dropped the bike on the exhaust is bent in, and if you keep doing that, you're eventually going to break the support that holds up the exhaust, which is actually part of the frame. So I've heard that's an issue. Obviously there might be a few things you can do. You can reroute the exhaust so it's higher, put a different exhaust on there. I've seen quite a few people do that and just cut the support off. You can put luggage pannier racks which sort of help protect the exhaust. It wouldn't be complete protection, but it might be the first thing that it hits rather than the exhaust, so you don't keep bending the exhaust in. But that's only if you keep dropping on that side. I think, let's face it, these crash bars are going to be the first thing that hits on a standard kind of road drop. What other things have I heard about? I think that's about it. I think that's the only real criticism that I've sort of mechanical criticism that I've seen people fire at it. So that's kind of a tiny small Achilles heel, but let's just hope I never drop it on that side. But yeah, no, it's a delight. It's I'm a new rider. This is my third ever bike. Well, fourth. Well, I had one when I was 16. But as an adult, this is my third ever bike. And so, it seems incredibly easy to use and very friendly and fun. It kind of ticks all of the boxes. Like I said, the only thing that I'm slightly uncomfortable with at the moment is the height, but I've got a lowering kit on the way. I'm not 100% sure that I need a lowering kit, but I've ordered it, it's on the way. I will test it out, and I will, God, so much gravel on these roads. I'll test it out, and then, I can just always swap it back, it's no big deal. It's a lower seat, and those dog bones the suspension a little bit. But generally, absolutely love it. Just, it feels right. The standing position, I didn't mention that, but the standing position is very comfortable. You can kind of get over the bars, you can stand bolt upright. If you want to rest your legs, you can sort of lean back a bit. You can do what you want, and it feels just feels right. I don't feel like I need to change the bars. I don't feel like I need to change anything. The seated position, your legs are slightly cramped, and that's coming from someone who's not big, who's a little small to medium guy. So I think a big guy's legs might feel very cramped on this. I was hoping I was going to have a little bit of a empty road in front of me to put a little push of power on for you, but never mind, never happened. But generally speaking, yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. Really am. It probably is my dream bike. You know, there's no other bike I would want more than this, and I've got it. So what more can you say? I know it's not a massively expensive bike, and there's much more showy bikes and much more exotic bikes that you could lust after, but this is probably, if you're only going to have one bike, for me who wants to do a bit of off-roading, you know, progress further on the Trans-Euro trail and do all that kind of stuff, and be able to actually cover some mileage on the motorway when I need to, you know, the Yamaha, the CP2 engine on this thing apparently is one of the most reliable motorbike engines you can buy on the market today. So it's just going to keep going and going. Whether it rusts a bit down in this salty Cornish air that we have down here is a question, you know, that needs answering in a year's time, I guess. It's possible it's not particularly great for rust, but I think generally it feels solid. It feels incredibly well built, and it feels planted, and like I said, it's just easy. I'll revisit this when I start getting it off-road and really, you know, giving it some welly and really kind of making it work. I will do another video, but this is literally, you know, it arrived yesterday. I've done 37 miles, so this is very much a first impressions of it. By the way, regarding my old bike, I absolutely loved it. It was lots of fun. I didn't have a problem with it. I sold it for a couple of reasons. I just wanted to cover a bit more mileage, and that thing was fantastic on the little B roads. Really, you know, you could just throw it around and feel completely in control. But on the, you know, with no wind protection and the sort of the size and the weight of it and all the rest of it, it just kind of felt like it just wasn't comfortable for long distance. I would get really tired after just, you know, 20 minutes on the 830. So that was why that went. Still not used to the biting point on this clutch, even though it's a very smooth clutch. I'm still not perfectly smooth riding it yet. Anyway, I'll sign off there, guys. I just wanted to chat about my new bike, and yeah, kind of give you a sort of first impression. First impressions is this thing's an absolute beast in a good way. It's a beast that it's easy to use and tons of fun. What more can I say? I think that'll probably do it. But yeah, I got to take all these stickers off. Such a newbie. Yeah, like I said, I still got the plastic wrapper on the key. Anyway, guys, I'll leave that there. But yeah, this thing, I love it so far. I will report any problems as and when they come.